Hi there, this is Christine. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and we are going to make a fun fold card today. But first, I just want to show you this gorgeous new paper that I've got. It's the Evergreen 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. It's specialty Designer Series paper. And the reason for that is that it's got that beautiful gold going through it. So it is 12 sheets. I'm going to start on this side. So this one's already been cut up. We're using it for today's card. And that is the flip side of it. So one side's got the gold foiling on it and the other does not. So it's just beautiful paper. Love this one too. It's kind of torn between these two for this card, but I decided. All right. And then there's this one. I flipped them over to be able to go through them quicker with you, and I'm still struggling with it. This one's got tiny little gold dots through it. I don't know if it's coming through on the video. It's so pretty. Very delicate. And oh my gosh, I love this ombre. So this is Evening Evergreen up here and Soft Succulent down here with the ombre effect. And then we've got this gorgeous gold and Evening Evergreen. And I think this might be the most dramatic print. I love that. So that is a new product release that Stampin' Up! Has done. There's a whole suite actually of this, what did I say it was called again? Goodness, that's bothering me. Okay, sorry. It's the Garden of Eden, I believe is what it's called. So this paper is Ever Eden. So that's available now. And there's also stamps and dies and embellishments and ribbon. So lots of new stuff if you want to go to the website and check that out. It's available as of November 1st. And we are actually using it to make a Christmas card. So I'm starting with a thick white card base. This is 11 by 8.5 that I've cut at 5.5. And we are going to score that. And that's where the fun fold comes in. We're going a little unconventional with this one. So I'm scoring it at 2 1/8. So my cutting blade is down at the bottom, out of the way. So 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. The easiest way I find to do that is to flip my card over. And I'm doing 2 1/8 again. So I want the same. It basically will open in the center. All right, and I have done all of my other cutting ahead of time, so we will put the cutter away. So we're using the Evergreen Elegance stamp set and coordinating border punch. So these two can be purchased individually or together as a bundle, and the bundle is 10% off the full price of both. So something to keep in mind if you like this one. And I am loving this border punch. We're going to use the punch right away and get that done too. So it comes like all our punches. It comes closed, and you slide this mechanism and then it opens. So I'm using the shimmery vellum in color paper on this one as well because I thought it was so pretty. So I'm just looking kind of upside down to make sure that I've got the vellum at the edge of one of the last tree there. Whoop. Try not to slide it around. All right, and then we're just gonna punch that through. Then, this is what's so cool. So you can see the printed outline of the trees here. You slide the trees over until they fit in that outline. And that's how you know you're at the next spot to punch. And is that all of it? That's all of it. Okay. So the punch is that easy to use. It's so cool. And I mean, you could keep going as long as your piece of paper allows. So I did end up with a teeny extra piece over here. Just gonna tear that off. There we go. Isn't that cute? All right, put our trees aside. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping and then we will get to the assembly portion. So before I fold anything up, I want to stamp on the inside a little bit. We're going to use this big Christmas tree. The stamp set has 3 trees of different sizes, as well as these sprig kind of things. So I just want to make sure there's not too much glare. And it's got really nice sentiments. Merry Christmas. It's friends like you that make the season so wonderful. And may the beauty of the season bring you joy and warm memories to cherish throughout the year. And then there's these 2 pretty stars. So I'm quite a fan of this one. So I'm going to stick to my theme and use Evening Evergreen for my stamping. And I'm just going to put a tree down at the bottom here. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I could make I'm always tempted once I bust these trees out to like make a forest or something, but I'm not going to do that because I do want some space to write in my card. And I'm going to use, I really like the sentiment. Well, I love both of the bigger sentiments, but I'm going to use the It's Friends Like You that make this season so wonderful. Excuse my head. I hope I'm not in the shot. There we go. All right, so, we have one more stamp to do as well, and that'll be for the front. I'm just going to do it now while I have the ink open and everything out. So I'm doing the Merry Christmas. I'm using block H for a lot of these, well, for all of these. You can use block D with the sentiments. The tree is just a little bit big for block D. And so this is a piece of 3/4 by, I don't know, it's a scrap. I will be cutting it, so I just need it to be 3/4 wide. All right, so that is it for stamping. So I'm going to put the glue away, I'm going to put the ink away before I stick my fingers in it. And put the stamps and the block away so that I've got more space. All right, so I'm going to set that aside for now. We'll set our card base aside as well. Here I've got 3 pieces of Evening Evergreen cardstock. So 2 of them measure, sorry, I'm just going to double check my measurements here. 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, 2 by 4 1/4, and 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. Then we've got our designer series paper that is 1/4 inch smaller in height than the pieces. And this one I'm going to do this way just to have a little something different. So I'm going to use my liquid glue to put these together. If you have any questions about measurements or anything, I will include them in the card description. But you can also please reach out anytime. So I am lining the edges up on the width. And so the top and bottom will be the same, and then the middle one's a bit different. I like to use my liquid glue when I'm doing this kind of work because it doesn't dry quite as well. It does. It takes a couple minutes to dry, so you can wiggle it around if you need to. Whereas the dry glues, if you want to call them, like the snail and the tear tape and those things, once you've stuck it down, it's stuck down. So no room for error. This paper is so pretty, and I love that this is going to be in the spring catalog. They've released it early, like I said, but it works really well for Christmas with the greens and the golds. So I'm very happy that they came out with this one. right. And then we can do this part. So I don't want kind of a cut tree hanging about here. So I'm just going to cut this last tree off so that we have a nice clean end. And I don't want this jagged bit going on here. So I'm just gonna, and actually the bottom strip is going to be hidden. We're going to use some ribbon as well. Excuse my reach. I'm just going to pull out my glue dots. So I, when I can, like to bring my project to the glue dot and go that way. So you don't need a ton. I just want to have enough that it's not going to go wandering around too much. So I'm just going to do 3. Oop, I skipped a dot. We'll use this one here. You have to be careful with the placement of your glue dots because you can see them. This is vellum, so you can see through. So just consider that when you're placing. I find with this vellum, with the shimmer through it, it's a little more forgiving. You can't see through it quite as much, but it's just enough. I'll just bring that up so you can hopefully see that a bit with that shimmer. It's so pretty. Then I just got this ribbon. I'm excited about it as well. It's so pretty. It's the Chevron weave ribbon, and it is, so this is in the annual catalog. I'm trying not to throw it. So that is also evening evergreen. So there's a definite theme going here. So I'm just using my trusty fabric scissors here. So I want this to be pretty much the width of my, so 4 1/4, sorry. Kind of what I'm aiming for. Oof. All right. And I'm going to use glue dots on this as well. So again, you don't need a ton. And I'm just pressing the ribbon to the dot and then lifting off. If you have the older glue dots used to be stuck to the inside. Now they're stuck to the inside of the part that comes up. So it's taken me a little bit of adjusting, but once you get used to it, it's quite manageable. So I'm just putting that down on the bottom here, fairly straight. There we go. And then we've got our Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to start with this side. Just going to cut it on an angle just to have something a little bit different. And kind of replicate that angle. And I just realized that I did not do the correct angles on my ribbon. I'm just going to gently remove that and fix it. I should have checked that before putting it down. All right, so again, we're going for 4-ish. You can use a ruler, you can eyeball it. Don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. There we go. I'm just going to clean that up. There. So I'm just going to compare that on my Merry Christmas, make sure I've got the correct side down, which is this side. 2 and 3. And try to center that on the bottom of the trees. Take 2. There we go. Now, we've got our Merry Christmas, and I am going to put that, oh, don't know why I'm afraid of it here. I'm going to put that on dimensionals just to pop it up. So it's going to look super, look really nice. Excuse the reach. And I'm just going to put my dimensionals down. This sheet looks a little bit strange. It's left over from a paper pumpkin kit. Down to the edges, so just using up my scraps. All right. And there we go. So now we have to put our card together. So I'm going to grab my bone folder here. I'm going to fold so I'm basically just folding it. Just using my bone folder to make those edges nice and crisp. Now, before I aggressively fold this, I'm going to line it up. The idea is you want the pieces to meet but not overlap, if possible. There we go. So now I'm going to just going to decide on my orientation for these. Yeah, we'll go with this way. So this will be my top piece. And the big thing to remember is you only want to put glue on 1/2. Otherwise, you're going to glue your project shut. So again, I'm using my liquid glue for this. Because I want to make sure I've got it exactly where I want it before it sets. So I find it easier to do the first one kind of sideways so that I can see. I'm lining it right up to the edges. Now I'm going to flip this over and I can just see the outline of my green cardstock. So it's kind of nice to use a high contrast color. It makes it a little bit easier, but this can be done with any color, any designer series paper, any theme for that matter. So now I'm going to put my Merry Christmas, but I'm going to glue this side to this side. I'm not sure what this is called, this fold. I thought I had found it and I didn't. So if you know, please drop it in the comments. That would be awesome. We can all learn together. Oh, double gatefold might be what this is called. I don't know that for sure. Probably should have looked it up. Okay, and I'm just turning this so that the orientation of the pine sprigs or whatever these are the same. I'm going to call them pine sprigs. They make me think of Christmas a little bit. And then I'm just going to line these two up. Whoop. That's why we like liquid glue. All right. And then the card opens like so. Isn't that cool? So we just need to add a little bit of bling to it. I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go with my bling, so I've got the wonderful gems with gold, and I think I'm going, yeah, yes. Other option is the beautiful in color jewels, and I could use the evening evergreen of that, which is nice, but no. Or I could use my gilded gems, which would stand out really nicely as well, but I think I'm going to go with the wonderful gems. So the wonderful gems come in 2 colors, and they've got like, so I think I'm not sure exactly what the color is in the gold. There's a little bit of blues in there and golds. Sorry, in the red. It looks really, once you put it down on paper as well, different kind of colors I find show through. And then the clear ones have gold flecks in them. So I'm going to use that. Just grabbing my take your pick tool to make it easier to pick them up. And put a few of these down rather randomly. Just adds a little bit of something something to the card. Well, that doesn't have as much going on in it. So there's no rule to this at all. I really like doing uneven numbers though, so I'm just going to add a fifth one. Where will I add my fifth one? That's the question. I think we'll go right here. All right. So this is what I'm going to call the double gatefold. You can do it with absolutely any paper, any theme. I just think it's a really fun card. You saw it's not that hard to do. There is some cutting involved, but it comes together really easily once it's all cut up. So I hope you like this. I hope it inspires you to give it a try, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.